This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Clueless A Trading Frank. It's approximately 8:33 p.m. on Thursday, January 23rd, 2020. Welcome to the strategic midweek webinars, which normally happen on Wednesday, but I had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, so I scheduled it for today. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education and not for solicitation or advice. Session will be recorded, uploaded to the Google YouTube channel for viewing by everyone else out there, for viewing on a later time, hopefully before the market opens tomorrow. And I am just opening up a couple of more screens, so bear with me 1 second. Okay, let's begin. We have a couple of great members here. Mike H, Oscar, Paul, and Z, and maybe some other people will creep in. All right, so let me just start out by saying something. All right, straight out. So I've got a couple of suggestions, few from 3 or 4 people, to keep the webinar short. I have no problem with that. It makes my life a lot easier. So I don't have to sit there and explain to you all what the heck's happening with the markets. I know what's happening with the markets and what's happening with stocks. The only reason the webinars last from 60 minutes to 90 minutes at certain times, and it does exhaust my energy a lot, to be honest with you, because I'm not a kindergarten teacher, but most of you are kindergarten kids when it comes to trading. So let me be straightforward like a New York trader. I have no problem keeping the webinar short. I'd like to keep the webinars in a 5-minute or 15-minute routine, but you guys would know nothing, okay? Because most of you, just like me, are clueless. So listen carefully what I'm going to say and answer the question when I ask you guys, all right? Have you guys ever subscribed to other services, which I have in years past? And the only reason I don't subscribe to services anymore, because I realize that my style is far better than most of them. Have you read long-winded newsletter blogs? And please answer it honestly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what are my webinars? My webinars are actual visual representation of newsletter blogs. Okay? So that's the reason why they last for a bit. But they're far more effective because you're visually seeing it and truly understanding what the heck the markets are doing, where they're going, where they might fall to, what stocks are doing, what the projections are, where you need to do your trade management. So I try to put that in a comprehensive visual format. So I respect the fact, I do, that keep it short and this and that. I would love to keep it short. In fact, tonight I'm going to keep it in 15 minutes and good luck, guys. All right? Listen, I'm a Boston, New York guy. Now, please, 1 second. All right? I'm going to keep it short because everybody is impatient, which is fine because my life is more important than my trading and I make shitloads of money. And I don't need to explain to people for 90 minutes why they should, stop being in the bunkers and take some courage and try to do some tactical trading and not whine and cry over one little thing that didn't work when 80% of them work big time. And I say this with love, okay? So smile, kids. Because I heard it from a couple of people. And I appreciate that. Everyone's got their own lives to lead. But remember, the market doesn't do your bidding. You do the market's bidding, if you know what that means in proper English. All right? The markets don't comply to our wishes. We bend the market's wishes to comply with Clueless A trading charts, which are undoubtedly some of the best that you guys will ever deal with if you know how to read them, if you use your brains. So I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but I'm speaking the truth. just like Donald does. He says something straight. It offends a couple of people. So frigging what? If they're right, if he's right, he's right. So that's it, guys. So whoever, doesn't agree with me, I personally don't care. So I'm going to keep this short. I want to keep it short. All right? I want to keep it short. I have a family. I'd like to go say hi to my wife. I'd like to take my dogs out on a late night walk on the waterfront. Okay? I don't want to sit here and explain to my members the dynamics of what a candle looks like when they should learn on their own and what these lines are all about. So respect it, okay? That's it. It's just a friendly thing. Just a friendly thing. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy.
May I
Yeah,
make
go
a
ahead.
comment? It's Paul here. I just want to mention that to answer your question, I have been part of other services, and they don't provide as near as much education as what you do. And I think you actually answered.
Let me just tell you something. Nobody does. Nobody will show you the insights of the market like Clueless Aid Trading does. Trust me. I know. I've been there. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I think you answered the objection of whether the length of the time. I mean, you record all of your conferences where the other services don't, so somebody could just fast forward if they wanted to and let the others learn if they want to, right?
And who is this speaking, by the way? I should know that by looking at GoToMeeting.
Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah. And don't take me wrong, Paul, because look, let me give you a little history of Paul while you guys look at this chart very clearly. And I hope all of you understand what the heck's going on because I've walked you guys through it. Okay? You don't want to cross this red line. This is where Donald bombs the crap out of Iran, okay? When the markets go down. I'm just kidding. No, I don't want anyone to die. So I want the bad mullahs to perish and the Qud militia, whatever it is, that they have out there. And I don't want the innocent people of Iran to perish. So that's a red line right there. Let me change the color. So Paul, just so you understand where I'm coming from. So Paul followed me on StockTwits for a while, and we went back and forth. And look, I don't even get into StockTwits that much. And he said, "Listen, at this time, I'm going to be more active." I said, "Fine." It's another guy like making excuses. Who cares? He doesn't need me. He's a smart guy. Okay, and I'm talking about Paul, the one who asked the question. So, and then he signs up. And then we actually start like conversing a bit, DM messages. He sends me some amazingly fantastic info, this and that. And he's overall bullish in a bunch of stocks as well as my market conditions. And Paul, by the way, is not a very nice guy on StockTwits. I'm just kidding. I like the way you slap some people around. I do, because I like people who smack people around when they're totally stupid. So Paul is not like a nice guy who'll be like, "Hi, can I get you a cup of coffee?" No. And I'm not that nice a guy. I'm not going to get you a cup of coffee. I'm going to get you a bottle of Moët Chandon or some other fancy champagne if you make a lot of money based on my trades. And in fact, you should be the one doing that for me. Okay, so that's how I met Paul. And sometimes I'm a little bit scared because I don't like somebody who likes me too much. I like people who are a little bit skeptical of me, and that's the way I lead my life. But he's like, seriously, he's like almost like a hardcore, Clueless Aid supporter, and I thank you for that, But that's it. So that's the way it is. All right. So yes, so I'm going to keep this short because now the standard stuff is over. So number one. So they changed the format. So where do I get my freaking? I can't even get my. I need my arrows. Keyboard shortcuts. Oh my God, I don't even have my arrows. They changed the whole format on this. So I got to figure it out. I got to call them and they're going to walk me through. So I can draw an arrow. So how about invisible arrow? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a W formation. I told, and anyway, and I'm explaining things I've already done on my Twitter feed. This is a massive W right there. This is your red zone. you cross below E-minis, S&P 3290, 3294 on the E-minis, you're going to fall hard towards 3277. That's almost a 20-point drop. I'm still looking for the markers so I can put it. And you fall from here to here, you're talking about a 200-point drop. Okay, 150, 200 points right there. One other piece of suggestion for everybody else. I know I try to keep it as simple as possible, but please try to use your brains and your eyes, because that's what God has given us. When you're driving a car, any car, not my analogies about Lambos and stuff, right? Those you really need to know how to drive. But an average car, the fact is, got to keep your hands on the wheel, all right? Don't be blaming the autopilot for crashing on a tree while you're texting your whatever. So this is the dip. So that's your chart. What does it look like? It's going higher. What are we going to do? If things really blow up, which I personally think is going to happen in January, because the markets are bullishly so strong, even though we made some very decent money on the UVXY, which I bought as low as 126, 120, I'm sorry, $1.30, $1.35. And this morning they went to $1.70 and spiked a little bit more to $1.75, and I sold half my position. And I had a bunch of them. The VIX, the same way. The VIX is bottoming, but it's not like fully bottomed yet. It's coming. February. Don't go nuts shorting the market like crazy, like, oh, that's it, I'm going to put half my account in shorting the market till Valentine's Day. It's a nice day. Even if your wife, your boyfriend, your dog, your whatever partner doesn't like you, they're still kind of nice to you on Valentine's, or you should be nice to them on Valentine's. So don't short the market before then, all right? Trust my words. I know. I told you guys never to short markets in a big way before big emotional or national holidays. Remember that. So saying all that, the VIX calls when the VIX calls that we had, the 15 calls, they went to 225. What was our average cost? If you were a smart trader, you were buying it at $1.50, $1.60, $1.70. That's a beautiful return. When you get 70 cents, I can write on this thing. I can't believe this. Trying to find the pen. That's it. I'm gonna scream at them so hard. Go to meeting, I mean. You guys are still there, right? Because I see Mike's muted and stuff, so that's fine. So if you make 70 cents on 70 cents on $1.60, you're looking at 44% on your money. I did very well. I'm not out of my hedges. I just sold the VIX calls and half my UVXY calls because they're March 20th. In the meantime, like tons of stocks, like, did great things. So nothing to explain in the stock. If things go really wild, then we're going to go to 33.52. Another, 20, 30, what am I looking at? 26 points, the 200 points from here. And then we know what the levels are. Don't cross this red line. Don't cross this red line. And this is exactly what the markets came to. No charts, and I will just say it for once and for all. No charts are as precise as that. If you guys can't read it, DM me for help. I'll walk you guys through. Sign up for the advanced coaching sessions. Spend a couple of bucks to make a couple of thousand, if not more. But don't sit there and make excuses. Next chart. This is which one was I showing you? Okay, so that was one. This is the same time frame, but a slightly different look. So right now, futures are coming down. We're down about 50 cents on the futures. We were up about 4. the bears on all the other forums are freaking out. They're happy. They're like, oh my God, here comes the big one. Yeah, okay, maybe it comes the big one. So who the F cares? Because we have had big, bad openings and we have had great, solid P&L days. Why? Because all of you are very emotionally unattached? No. It's because hopefully some of you are trading off these type of charts. They're very precise. NASA rocket style, all right? And somebody come and tell me, no, they're not. Well, I'll give them a counter argument just by showing them the visuals. So they're going to say, hey, you're right, man. Can I buy you a beer? And I say, no, I don't drink beer because I have been on a keto diet, which I love. So I'll drink something low carb, nice alcohol content, but something low carb, no sugar. How about that? Want to buy me that? Great. So all kidding aside, this is still fine. And the pajama traders, as Jim Cramer likes to say on, what's his show called? Cramer's show?
Mad money.
Mad Money, yeah. Like he says, the pajama traders. Look, he's a smart guy. Is he right most of the times? No. Does he understand technical analysis? Frigging zero. Does he bring in some people to explain the stochastics and this and that, and they make it sound like, oh my God, it's so special that I'm explaining to you guys every freaking single day, every single minute? Yeah, he does. And I smile. But he has a great audience. I should be on freaking public media. But I won't do that because I like my private life. Seriously. I mean, you'd be dead right. Imagine like putting my version of what the markets would be doing for years and years, months and months on national TV. They'd be like, holy cow, this guy must be nuts. And he's great. But I don't want that accolade because it take away from my privacy. And the only thing that you guys have in your life is your privacy. Remember that. Wake up. I'm old enough to say it. That's the reason I stay away from that. Or else I'd be sending a couple of my charts and my video. All I have to do is send a couple of my video casts to CNBC, and they'll be like, oh, can we set up an appointment for you? Believe me, they would. You know that. Of course you know that. Now, so nothing to explain on this chart. Next one. Let's take a look. This is your naked chart. This is how life appears in front of you. Like, hallelujah. The seas parted, right? Welcome to the promised land. So let's take a look at the weekly chart of the overall market. Oh my God, this is so, just kidding, guys. For all the people who wanted me to be 5-minute traders, 5-minute video cast guys. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just busting your chops, all right? I have a right to do that. So, hello, does this look like everything's breaking down? Just get a yes or no, maybe.
No.
Right, exactly. Now, one of the things that I heard, because I'm always constantly connected to the smart financial media, is one of the guys, somebody, I don't even know his name, older guy. So they asked him directly, why aren't the markets like really collapsing? And that doesn't mean you don't have any hedges, because you might wake up tomorrow morning and the frigging Chinese Wunan, whatever it's called, Corona, right, virus. And you know why anyone know why the reason for the coronavirus is?
People in those countries sleep with live animals.
Yes, you're almost right. They eat all kinds of really garbage animals, especially parts of China. Let's put it this way. Exactly. Like you want to eat like exotic frigging reptiles? You're going to get a virus up your wazoo that's going to drop the Chinese market like 3% like it did, or whatever, 2%. Exactly. Thank you, Mike. Yes, because China is well known for eating the most weird shit in the world. And they produce the most billionaires in the world. So what gives? It's like unbelievable. And that's the reason why this virus came about. Thank you, Mike. All right? And now you guys are a little bit more informed. So now China is dealing with it, and the markets fell a bit, but who the heck cares overall? Yes, we have an incident in Washington State. And while I'm doing this, focus on the chart, okay? This is 2018 break-even level. Because one thing great about traders is that, very important about traders, they need to look and read. Because most traders don't look and they don't read. They just want to look at their P&L. Like, oh my God, am I up like $1,000, $5,000? Am I up $100? Like, no, look at the charts. Don't just chase prices. I ain't your grandpa. This ain't grandpa's market, like my favorite saying. This is a machine-driven market. That's why these charts are so perfect. Not because of me, because I structured them the way they are. Capiche? Like they say in New York. All right? So, nothing wrong with this picture. So this corona whatever virus, which is serious, 80 or 90 people have died. Terrible. It's because of garbage that you eat. Gut health is important. Majority of Chinese are very healthy people. Green tea, all kinds of fresh stuff. But you can't be eating weird frigging things that are running around your backyard. Especially if you live in the wonderland somewhere out there in the mountains, all right? Don't be eating your skunks. All right, let's move on. So now we know. So saying all that, right now, we still have a little bit more room to move. Now, is it possible? My God, I can't even find the frigging pen so I can show you guys. I'm such an idiot. Should have tested this new thing out. No, that's not it. 1 second. I see things. I'm going to actually start my webcam in a week or two, so you guys can see my ugly face and see me as I'm screaming and showing all this stuff, which you guys might be intimidated with, but I don't want my Logitech webcam. What do you guys see right now? The screen behind you? Yes or no?
The screen and your pointer moving around.
Okay, good. Because for some reason, like I said, Mike, the format changed. So I saw all my screens and I saw the like the side of my head, and I was really scared. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Okay, so just kidding. So bottom line is, this is still like a major bull market, and what's really scary, and with this bull market is going well beyond what I projected. So even though I have my hedges, I'm still trading alongside with a lot of powerful stocks, which we're going to look at very quickly. It's going to go a little bit beyond 15 minutes, guys, so stop getting so impatient, all right? What's up right now? $15 that I told you guys to buy. Can somebody tell me?
Boeing?
Boeing is not up $15. Boeing was up $15. I'd be doing flip carts right now. Boeing is
Netflix was up.
No, you guys are full of crap because you don't focus. I told you guys to buy TeamViewer. Yeah, exactly. Okay. The stock is up from like frigging, it's like going bonkers. It's up like 15 or 16. Told you guys to buy Intel. Stock is up almost like 5. Told you guys to buy Skyworks. Slightly down about 2. So yeah, so stop making up stories if you don't know. I'm talking what happened like after hours. Remember the words after hours? Exactly. Boeing is up like about $1. Boeing's going higher. Buy the crap out of Boeing. You want a nice IRA in 2 years, a year? Buy the crap out of Boeing. All right? The greatest American company alive. It is almost 0.5% or 1% 0.5% or so of our GDP. You know what that means? Jesus. Anyone know what our US GDP is? Gross domestic product, what's the value? Can anyone tell me? Quickly Google and find out and give me a right answer. So you all look smart. What is the GDP of the United States of America? I'm asking educated people here.
21 trillion.
Wow. I was going to say 19. I was right. I'm right. And oh shit, in 2017 it was 19.39 trillion. So it's 21 trillion dollars. How many zeros are in trillion? Holy cow. And Boeing is 0.5% of that? That's huge. And you're telling me, no, I'm not going to buy Boeing because it's going to be down $6 and the next day it's going to be up 15. Now the thing with Boeing is, okay, enough with the charts. The thing with Boeing is that the new CEO Calhoun laid it out yesterday. 2 things he said. Can somebody tell me the 2 things he said? All right, I'm not going to wait around for answers. All right, this is not like, who's going to get an A+ on the next test. He said, we're not cutting dividends and we're not taking the 737 MAX out of production. Boom. Boeing was down how much? While I was busy with some serious business stuff, was down like $7, $8, $9. What did it do by the end of the day? It was almost up. It was like down only about a 1. And today, it's up almost 10, 9. So what are you guys waiting for? Nirvana? You want to sit around cross-legged like a yogi, like in the top of the Himalayas? Like frigging just go. You want to be an active, like hustle trader? Buy the best companies in America. Seriously. And stop making excuses. Seriously, guys. I almost laugh with the stupidity of retail emotional traders. Boeing. I'm repeating. We have made money in Boeing 80+% of the time. And even when they're down, I've still told you guys to buy it. And am I going to say yes or no? And somebody's going to say yes. Yeah, so what? This is your VIX. We're going to go back to the charts in a second. I'm trying to keep this within like 15 minutes. So your Goomba leaves and says, okay, honey, you were good. I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke. Dominic's going to laugh. All right. So the VIX still has no juice. Still has no juice. It's just between these tight Bollinger's 1456, 1157. Now, here's the beauty about option trading. You can still buy the calls, the UVXY calls, all the way down at $1.20, $1.30, and you can still sell them at $1.70. So if you want to be a real tactical trader, you could still make 21 or 30% on your money. The big move up, which unfortunately I can't show because I don't have access to the frigging marker, thanks to GoToMeeting. I'm really going to scream at them tonight, is when it breaks out over the downtrend line. And that downtrend line, ladies and gentlemen, is 1574. And by the time it hits the downtrend line, we're going to make a crap load of money. So here's my suggestion, like I've put in 3 straight out. Have a hedge. Keep 10, 20 contracts on the side. That's your hedge. So tomorrow morning when you wake up and the markets are down 300 points because this corona, whatever, bad animal eating virus is hits like Virginia because somebody flew in from Wuhan province, and our markets are down 300 because of that, you'd be like, whoopee! That was whoopee me this morning. All right? Always be insured. Why do we have insurance? Because you know you're going to crash tomorrow morning in your car? Hopefully not. But if you do, then you have somebody to pay it for the damage. This is the insurance. Always have it, especially in these type of markets. These markets are not like the first step. We are in our 8th or 9th inning right now. So what happens then? That's where the juice goes. That's where the excitement builds. 8th inning, your favorite team's like almost there. Well, that's what the freaking markets are doing. All right? I'm not sitting here saying, whoa, the market's going to collapse and die. I'm simply saying we're going to have 200 and 300 point pullbacks. And did not I say that in the past 2 webinars? Did I say it? Yes or no?
Yes.
It did.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. What more do you need from me? What you can ask me for, what you can ask me, like CAN, is great tactical selective trades, which we're going to go into next after the VIX. And remember, the VIX crosses over 1568. We're going to go to almost 20. That's when panic sets in. We're going to make crap loads of money. What you cannot ask me for is to change your adult diapers, which most of you do half the time during the day mentally. Okay, now that we're out of that crap, let's take a look at charts. So this is team doing its thing. This is Intel. Now, why is Intel so important to the overall semiconductor market, which has been the power of growth for American industry for the last 50 years? Why is Intel so important? Even though it's an old-fashioned name. Come on, guys.
It tells us the many things, like how computer sales are, how the industry is doing. It weighs heavily on the Dow Jones, so it basically sets how the economy is going.
Right, because semiconductors are the basis for every single thing that is happening in our lives. Every single thing, electronic thing that we use has a semiconductor chip in it. Intel's not in all of it, but it is into majority of them. And the fact that they said, and Intel originally was a PC company, right? PC demand. They even said PC demand went up. Like, wow. And that's the reason Western Digital, which makes all the hard drives, are going nuts. And actually, we haven't been in that stock for the last 2 or 3 months. We did very well on that last 2 or 3 months, and I follow it. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's going nuts. That's Western Digital, for God's sakes. They are the masters of all the hard drives, whether SSD drives or old-fashioned hard drives, doesn't matter. You know who one of the founders of Intel was? He was an immigrant from Hungary, a Holocaust survivor. You know what his name was? Learn some American history, guys, instead of just watching garbage channels. What was his name? There were 3 founders. One was Gordon Moore. It's called Moore's Law. Google it so you'll know what Moore's Law is all about. One was Robert Noyce, that no one knows about. And one was, who was it? None of you know. That's a shame for American education. Everyone knows every single frigging basketball player, football player, LeBron. I shouldn't pick on LeBron, but and Jay-Z and whatever, rap singer. But no one knows who revolutionized and made America great. His name was Andrew Grove, and that wasn't even his real name because his Jewish name was different. Andy Grove wrote a book. Does anyone know what that means? I mean, names? The book was called Only the Paranoid Survive. If you're not paranoid about your trading and your life and your hunger to really achieve real success, not with the stage you're in, but real success, only the paranoid survive. Only the paranoid sleep. That was the name of his book. Read it sometime. Now you learn something about American history. I'm talking about real freaking American history. Andy Grove. Okay, let's move on. Intel, whoever bought it is going to wake up tomorrow morning with a nice, decent amount of money in their pocket. Let's look at Team. And I'm just making it as quick as possible. I'm not going to keep it the 15-minute routine to keep you guys all dumb. Just doing it within like as quickly as possible. Team. Bought the calls where? Can't even remember, like $1 and change. I bought the 144 calls. I'm not going to spend that much money. I know Team. Anyone know what Team's name is? It's called Atlassian Corporation. Does anyone know what Team does? I'm sure Z does.
I use it at work.
There you go. Exactly. Team is like the real version of, like TeamViewer is like the hardcore version of Slack, right?
Yeah, they
Or
even
more.
do Jira, which we use at work for development and communication purposes too. That's really big on software industry.
Thank you for your input. Z, new member, thank you for input. He's a tech guy. Exactly. Team. I've traded Team every single time. I don't trade Team during the normal. I just trade Team between like earnings. I just trade Team during earnings. And it's overall worked out great. One time I got smacked and then it turned around. So Team gonna wake up very nice and sweet. Skyworks. What does Skyworks do? Skyworks is one of the biggest suppliers of chips to Apple.
Yeah.
And the stock, and there are multiple suppliers to Apple, and the stock was actually kind of weirdly down. So the $2.70 and I paid for the calls, and remember, when you buy the basket strategy, as I put on the ER earnings, I'm gonna get hurt. One is up freaking $15. Intel's up 4. One's down like maybe 2, and probably gonna have a reversal tomorrow morning. Who the F cares? That's how real traders make money. Now, if you want to put all your eggs in one basket, well, you deserve to be obliterated. Just remember that. Okay? Just by one call, 2 calls. And if it goes, you're going to make 800. If it doesn't go, you're going to lose 200. Don't make this business too difficult, all right? So this happened. It just shot up to 134. Wow. And then it shot down to 118 and then closed around 125. That's the nature of after hours trading. It does not, and this is what the chart looked like before. Think about it. That's a beautiful chart. The chart technically looked like it wants to go all the way to 131 and the low, which I consider to be the low, is your 34-day moving average at 116. So where is the stock now? 124. Remember, the daily charts don't show you the after hours movement. So 124. So where is the stock now? It's still here, hogging the 20-day moving average. I'm sorry, this is the 5-day moving average, the yellow line. So what's the big deal? From a longer term perspective, nothing changed. After hours, like, whoa, it's down about $3, the world is ending. There were huge buyers of the stock today. Look at the volume. Got to incorporate on that when you're looking at your charts. It should be second nature. It's like you having a drink, like when you sit at your favorite bar. Do you even think what you're going to order? No. Either the guy tells you, hey, you want that IPA, you want that, Jack Daniels or whatever. You want that Russian Mule. You want that some frigging girly drink. I don't know. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Like whatever. Or you want your martini, like, with 2 olives. So when you look at the charts, your brain should be telling you the same thing. Like you should know it. This is your 20-day moving average. It's at 124.46. And that is exactly what the stock is right now after hours at 124.98. Get used to knowing charts. So the uptrend is still intact. So let's see. If it breaks below that, the stock's going to fall to 121, 117. I doubt it. Apple is making a new cheaper phone to attack the third world market so everyone can afford it instead of paying $1,600, $1,500 like we do to buy the fancy iPhones. You know what they're going to do for their numbers? Apple suppliers are gearing up to for oversupply of chips. Apple's earnings are next week. Every analyst is going to say, "Oh, they suck. They don't know. Tim Cook, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's gay. Oops." Sorry about it. I said that. Not to offend anyone. Tim Cook is one of the finest, smartest guys in the world. Best friends with Donald. What more do you want for? What do you want? Apple, in my opinion, even if it dips a little bit, it's per $330 stock. So wake up and smell the coffee, guys, all right? What's that going to do for the tech market? And the fact that Intel is so broadly based just told us that things are really starting to look up. Oh, that's really going to hurt the semiconductor market, right? Like Cramer said tonight, oh, maybe they're at their peak. Right, that's why Cramer left his hedge fund business after he incurred a lot of losses. Oops, I shouldn't say that because somebody's going to sue me from his legal thing, right? Come on, wake up. Intel just said things are A-okay. Sometimes just keep it simple, guys, all right? Just keep it simple. All right. Told you guys to friggin' buy Netflix. Told you guys to buy Netflix. I showed you the chart before the earnings, after the earnings. Then I told you guys to buy it today. Every single frigging analyst, most of them, aside from the really smart ones, said, look, there was nothing wrong with the numbers. So look, I'm not going to give you an analysis. You want a colonoscopy? Go to a proctologist, okay? I'm telling you technical analysis. Started to see this thing develop. Look at the size of this frigging candle. When was the last time? And guys, open your eyes and please look. Because one thing I do is I'm like a nice boot camp, all right? I want you guys to really start trading independently on your own and using my charts and my comments and stuff just as a tool. So that they're not a tool of foolishness. When was the last time you saw a candle this size? Just visually look at it. Don't have to even measure the length. Let's go back. When? Never.
Yeah.
No, never. As far as I can see very quickly with my old eyes, and you're much younger than me, never. When was the last time you saw a candle this size? Does anyone see it? I'm rolling my mouse all over. Where was it? Of this size.
Same size, yeah.
Huh?
Not the same size, but I guess the second biggest would be the October 7th, I think, was it?
1 second, sir.
Right there, yeah.
Yes.
That's not even as big, yeah.
Thank you. Listen, at least you see. Most traders are blind. They're blinded by looking at flashing numbers. And they're blinded more when they lose a little bit of money. Never personalize your losses. Attack the market to make back 3 times your losses. And enough suggestions are given and trade alerts are put out there for you guys to do that. And it doesn't matter how crappy you feel when you wake up one morning. And I felt a lot of those. I have still overcome that crappiness, and within the same day or the next day felt like a king because I don't personalize my losses. Most of you personalize your losses. I can feel it sometimes when you DM me okay, you want well, don't be a freaking trader then. Go work in the post office where you don't have to worry about losses. Go work in a government job. Go work in something where there's 5 bosses over you. You want to be your own boss? Be a frigging tactical independent trader. You want your boss to scream at you because you're 5 minutes late because you went into work? Fine, that's okay. You want to be your own boss? Run your own frigging business. There's going to be more heartaches. There's going to be more joys. And you are definitely going to be more satisfied with your life. I don't look back on my worst months or my worst weeks or my worst days and ever say, I want to go back and go back to one of my financial jobs in Wall Street. And believe me, they'll hire me in 2 minutes. Never. Run your own business. And this is the best business of all. In between massive losses you'll take and 5 times more that you will make. You see the passion in my voice? Why? Because I take drugs? I don't take one single prescription drug, even if you freaking shot me in the head. I get a headache, I drink water. That's me. So look at the size of this candle. The calls went up 400% or more than after I told you guys to buy it, between 300 to 400%. And this candle is telling us that it will at least close this gap, which I have talked about all the time, which I can't even draw a line because freaking GoToMeeting, the new format, won't allow me to do that. Well, I don't know where to look for it. Is right here. There's your gap, 360. And this was the fallout from the earnings. All it did was retest the 34-day moving average, didn't even come close to the 50-day moving average, which would be a screaming buy. And may I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, a question now? Look at this candle. Did any of these two lines even buckle after the earnings? After the big drop in the earnings from 341, 343 down to 323, and all the BS analysts out there, my ex-colleagues, all screaming, oh, Netflix doesn't know what they're doing. They're losing market share. They're not working out in India. Okay, hello, just shut the F up, okay? Did any of these two major lines buckle, which is the 50 and the 34-day moving average? What do you all see?
No, they're firm up.
They're not firm. They're moving higher, dude. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're firm and moving higher. Exactly. So what more do you need to know? Your broker's going to say, I just read my top analyst and he said Netflix is going down. Okay, sir, you want to sell? Your financial freaking advisor for American Express who relies on a couple of idiots and a robotic machine to tell you what your financial plan for your life is. Yeah, right. Yawn. You want to lead your life like a, shouldn't pick on any career, but really, lead your life like a robotic slave to your financial advisors and your bosses, then go freaking do nothing. They've been dead wrong on the market 10 out of 10 times. They're never going to tell you anything contrarian. Nobody's going to explain to you where the markets are going like we do, up and down. So respect this candle. Let's take a look at Apple. I really have nothing to say. Is this meeting recording? I hope it is. Yeah, it looks like it is. I can't even tell this crap. Recording in progress. This new format sucks. Okay. Apple. Can somebody tell me where Apple is heading? It's right there. I want you guys to use your brains a little bit because just like in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. Huh?
326.
No, you failed. 326 what?
The green line up there, like.
Yeah, what is it? You have it. Are you looking at a big screen or
Is
you
that
listening
the Bollinger
Huh?
upper band, or I can't tell?
Yes,
because
you're right. But what is the exact number there?
326.9.
Thank you. So if this was an SAT question, you just got a 0. Even though you are right. You have to say the exact number. 326.90. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? With options, every 10 cents a dollar counts, right? That's the point that I'm making. So if you just say 396, well, that 90 cents might keep you in the loss. Did you understand what I said? So you had the exact number, but don't just round it off. Give me the exact number. 326.90. Exactly. There is a 70 to 80% probability that Apple will hit 326.90 or 326.90 or somewhere around that level, as Z correctly pointed out. or let's call it 327, either after earnings or 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days after that. Now, if that doesn't work out and Apple really shocks the market, the stock will literally collapse to 310 and 304. So what's the best way to play Apple? Is to do a straddle with a bullish bias. So I'll go with 326. Now, as options traders, as impatient traders that we are, right? We want everything like right now. I do too, like right now. We're an instant society, instant coffee, instant this, instant fast food. How about taking some time to breathe and make something which tastes better and more healthier? So we're the same thing with trading, all right? I don't know if it's going to happen right after earnings, but one way or other, the stock is going to get there from what it looks like. All right, throw out a stock or two. I want you guys. Oh, NVIDIA. Oh my God, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is already up $4 after hours, ladies and gentlemen. Told you guys to buy NVIDIA. Intel, NVIDIA. What's common about Intel, NVIDIA? And Z, stop talking. I want to answer from the other people. What is common between NVIDIA and Intel?
High-end chips.
Correct, semiconductor chips. Thank you. Very simple answer. NVIDIA is big into gaming, autonomous cars, these driverless cars, and God knows everything else that's under. Oh, artificial intelligence. They're working on 5G. And this chart is telling me NVIDIA is going to 263. Don't have to be a frigging brain scientist to figure it out. And what's the highs on NVIDIA going back on a monthly? And this is why I'm most bullish on this semiconductor stock. Bear with me 1 second. I gotta take a pee. Sorry, guys. Okay, gentlemen, I'm refreshed. Sorry about that. All right. So let's take a look at that. So if this was a 5-minute video, I'd just show you friggin' charts of 3 stocks and say good night. You guys do what you need to do. This is probably one of the most powerful charts that I've seen. This is a monthly. Let me remove this line. It's ridiculous. These are your uptrend channels, just in case you guys didn't notice. All right, the upper end of channel number 4 is 324. Every single month since September of last year. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. This freaking cold on the waterfront is driving me nuts. All the beauty about my waterfront and my views of New York and stuff. Seriously, I'm getting sick and tired of this. I'm moving to Boca Raton. Love that place. But then I'm not going to work. I'm always going to be hanging out in the sunshine, and you guys are going to be like, Frank, what's going on with the service? I'm like, okay, pay for the service. I gave you trades, 3 of them, just my webinars, maybe like 5 minutes, go do what you want. So anyway, kidding aside, but seriously, I'm getting tired of the cold. So every single month, boom, 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 boom. Minimum 266. Maximum 290. Real extreme maximum 325. These are monthly charts. Let's take a look at the weekly. Now here's the problem with NVIDIA, because I am as impatient as all of you guys. The options don't move that fast. You gotta have some patience. NVIDIA could be up 5, and if you bought in the money, you're only up like 2. You're like, what the F? Right? NVIDIA has less IV, implied volatility, less gamma options characteristics. So it doesn't reward us as big as it should immediately. But hey, you want to be a swing trader and stop making excuses like, oh, I can't really watch the market during the day. Who the hell asked you to watch the market during the day? I do that for you guys. Keep watching the swing charts. Keep watching the long-term picture of the chart, the E-mini daily, the E-mini 1 hour. Why are you watching the E-mini 15 minutes? Yeah, the market could be down 100, and the next thing you wake up, 3 days later, like Rip Van Winkle, or 3 weeks later, and you're like, wow, look at that. So stop making excuses about the market. I'm showing you longer-term charts on things, all right? Where do you think this stock is going? Anyone disagree with me? Based on what we're seeing right now? Look at this. Oh, my Lord. Is there one single... This has been happening since NVIDIA was at 160, by the way. Green histograms. Dipped a little bit when the stock hit 127. And every single day since July 1st of last year, look at the histograms. Look at this. I give up. I mean, sorry. Yeah, the MACD histograms at 1226. Who cares if it drops $5, $6 one day? You want something to put your little retirement away? Well, buy fucking NVIDIA calls, excuse my French, a year out. What's going to happen to the semiconductor cycle with 5G on the horizon? With Intel saying PCs are even picking up. Autonomous driving is finally taking traction. Tesla, that I gave you guys for like 400% today. And they're big into autonomous driving, even though I probably wouldn't get into a car where there's no driver. But anyway. So the point is, where do you think the stock's going, guys? Can somebody tell me?
Long term, it's going above 300.
Well, short term, where do you think it's going?
As you mentioned, 261.41.
Not as you mentioned. As you mentioned means I am forcing you to say something. Remember, I'm a master of behavioral science. As you mentioned means you're bowing to my wishes. No, bow to your own wishes. Where do you freaking think it's going?
261.41 to be exact.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's $5 from here. You're gonna make some decent money. Simple. Stock's going higher. Apple. Did we look at Apple? Yeah, I showed you Apple. Who wants to look at somebody somewhere else so I can just wrap up this session?
Honestly, we mentioned Intel. AMD is also in the same sector, and they're growing.
AMD is great. AMD has been on a streak like forever. Now remember one thing. There's something called gravity, right? But the Wall Street loves AMD. So let me change the levels here to the left.
And earnings, I believe, are next Tuesday or Wednesday. So I don't know if it could be a good...
Right. So AMD, realistically speaking, if life goes the way it is going to go to 53, 57. And then the Wall Street, I think JP Morgan put out their estimates out at 61, as if they're stealing off my charts, because that's the upper end of the channel. You see that? Yep. So right there is 53. The stock's right now at 52. What I like about AMD, can somebody tell me what I like about AMD? You guys are options traders. I'm going to give you a hint. What do you like about AMD?
Options are very cheap.
Thank you. Z's thinking like a real trader right now. Options are damn cheap. So if you don't buy, like you don't get a second mortgage in your house and buy it, you're not going to get hurt if it's down $1, which it has been many times as it's climbing. Yes, AMD. And every single thing, just like NVIDIA. Hello. Next stock. Dominic, you had a stock you want me to look at? You want me to tell you what Tesla's doing? The fact that for the last 10 days, I've missed out like every single one of the Tesla trades makes me sick to my stomach. Even though I've told you guys, I told you Tesla was going to go to 600, it actually almost went to 600. Remember one of my webinars said this thing is probably going to go to 600, but except I didn't have enough of a position. So here and there, I scalped some money. Today, I did some well. So, hey, even the best of the best were idiots. I just couldn't. I was just like, what? But what? Doesn't count it. You know, there's an old saying in the business, which many of you might have heard. It's not where the stock is coming from. It's where it's going. That's the way you look at the stock market. It's not where it's coming from. It's where it's going. So most of you don't understand the power of that statement. These are charts that I'd drawn a while ago. It doesn't matter where the stock is coming from or where the market is coming from. It's where it's going. It's the same thing with your life. Where you came from doesn't matter. It's where you're going. All right? Doesn't matter. I don't care if you came from a multi-million-dollar family in New York and Long Island, or you came from India, or you came from Turkey, or you came from Albania, or you came from Hungary, like Andy Grove, the man who literally changed our lives with the semiconductor. Okay? And the people who built the atomic bomb, who were Russian Jewish immigrants, right? Doesn't matter where you came from. Is where we're going, guys. Can go a lot higher. But in between, we want to scrap some money. Honestly, the stock's going a lot higher. This is so wild. Like one of my members said, Tesla's on crack. There's a lot of stocks on crack, but Tesla right now is on crack. But it doesn't matter. Because do you realize the China business, and I told you guys to buy Tesla like way back when I said the Shanghai thing was approved. I was the first one to break that news when I saw it. It could be, for all we know, could be 200,000 units sold there. The Chinese love Tesla. Elon Musk is respectful of cultures, unlike idiots who piss on other countries just for the hell of it, some corporate leaders. He's respectful of them. He knows this is the biggest market. Life is about business. The stock's going to 700, guys. Looking at this monthly chart, and this is the first time I'm looking at it, actually, by the way. I would say Tesla is at 706 by, I'm not even going to say by the end of the year, by June. Unless the China sales bomb. Based on these technicals that I have drawn, you have a floor of Tesla at 480. That's your, the rising wedge stuff that I do. Let me change the color. When I talk to people when they first join my service, I have about a 15 to 30-minute conversation with them. I tell them very clearly, it's a learning process what I do. We are truly contrarian traders. That means you might not understand what we're saying sometimes, but believe me, we get there. Believe me, we get there. Most people, humans, are built simple. They want simple answers, yes or no. Oh, things are bad. No, let me cry. Things are good. Oh, let me clap. No, we're more complex human beings here at Crusade Trading, more complex traders. We keep our emotions in check when things are going great. We keep our emotions in check when things are not going great. That's how you make money. That's how you succeed in life. So, saying all that, 700. Lower end, the rising wedge, 470. Give me 470. I'll freaking buy the heck out of the stock. Another channel, 509. Give me 509. I'll buy the heck out of the stock. Right now, the stock will vacillate between 592 and 407. That's 80 points, guys. But it will not change the directional bias of the overall picture of where the stock is going. Do you guys understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Right. In between, as a trader, you can trade it, but don't ask me that that's why I never short Tesla. I tried to short Tesla, didn't work. Worked the first time, said, I'm like, why the heck do I even try to short this stock? And what is the main reason, aside from their huge business potential, that the stock keeps on moving like this?
Short sellers and not a lot of shares to trade, actually.
There's a lot of shares to trade, but short selling. You're right.
No,
And the hedge funds, that they're still 20% shorted. I'm like, what? You know, like they say, what was that famous saying that I always knew? The world is full of educated derelicts. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Who said that? Shakespeare or somebody said that, right? The world is full of educated derelicts. You know what that means? Analysis. I'm going to say analysis paralysis. They're all a bunch of hedge fund freaks like, oh, yes, we went to Harvard, Wharton. I went to great schools too. My MBA school was Babson, was rated higher than Harvard 2 years running back in the days, all right? Oh, went there, and we know how to analyze Tesla. They have no earnings. Elon Musk is a pot-smoking idiot. Bunch of morons. Okay? And the true believers of Tesla, who are not that smart either, because they're like cult followers, they're like, oh, just buy everything. All I'm simply saying, the potential is huge. The stock will be extremely volatile between 570, between 594 on the top end, 570, and 483. We got to manage our trades. But one way or the other, if this candle, this beautiful candle, this is how I'm going to end this session. And I'm sorry I went beyond 15 minutes for your impatient listeners. All right? And by the way, I'm just half kidding around. All right? So 423, 574. It's sick. If this candle does not lose 508 and then turns red, we are good to go. It can be a day trade. It can be a swing trade. It could be your second IRA that you never created. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Hopefully this was a helpful session. Only two things I ask you guys. Focus, act, make more money, stop making excuses. And second thing that you guys can do for me, instead of saying, oh, great, great. I love member feedbacks. You're great, Frank. I'm not great. I'm not great. I'm learning so fast, it's not even funny. But what I need from you guys is to spread the word of Clueless Aid Trading. Get followers on Instagram. It doesn't cost you a penny. Free people to follow all these great option charts that I post there. Get referrals. That's all. Do that at least. In the meantime, make money, guys. God bless America. God bless President Trump. Rock and roll.
All right, Frank. Thank you, man. Thank you so